Hi, Dr. Jeff Banas back again, and we're talking more about Ironman Triathlon Training, how to train smarter, not necessarily longer. If you haven't watched the part one video, make sure you go back and watch the part one video. We talk a lot about why volume does not necessarily make you a faster triathlete. So that's really important that you understand that volume does not make you faster. Most people slow down because of poor muscular fatigue resistance, and they're not slowing down because of poor cardio. So in this session, we're going to get into exactly how to add short, high-intensity training to your plan, how you could avoid the junk miles, and how the high volume doesn't make you faster. We mentioned that before. A lot of you probably train with the triathlon club, and people are going off and riding 80, 100 miles, but they're still slow. They're still slow. They have some endurance, but isn't the goal to get off that bike as soon as possible? I think so. And so we're going to talk about how these shorter, high-intensity sessions can make you a better triathlete. So let's get right into it. There's three areas we need to focus on. We need to focus on strength endurance, and speed endurance. And obviously, all these areas are commonly overlooked by long-distance triathletes. Triathletes in general are lazy, especially endurance triathletes. Now, that sounds a little funny, calling you Ironman triathletes lazy, but honestly, it's pretty easy to go for a 10-mile run. It's easy to go for a 15-mile bike ride. It's easy just to get on the bike and bike for hours and hours. It's a lot harder to actually set the time away and put the strength sessions in that will actually produce much better results in your training. So strength, we'll talk about each of these here in a second and how to incorporate into your program. Strength endurance is basically your fatigue resistance, and that's critical to your success because this is one of the main reasons people slow down during long distance racing. You're slowing down because your legs are just tired. Your body's tired. You're not slowing down because you're out of breath. You're slowing down because your body is just tired. The muscles are tired. So we need to train your body to be able to handle that long distance cycling and running. And we do that largely through building up your body's resistance to fatigue, muscular resistance to fatigue. Speed endurance we need to address, and that's body's ability to maintain a specific pace over time. So let's break down the areas. Strength, we have specific strength and non-specific strength. An idea of a specific strength workout is it's sport specific. It's done while swimming, biking, or running. And it's through the full range of motion of that particular sport. Muscles are pretty tired. The muscles of work are tired, and it's a fair cardio workout. Good, not great cardio. You're not going really hard and not breathing really hard. An example of this would be cycling in your big gear for 5 minutes at 50 RPMs at 65 to 75% max effort. So you're working the legs pretty good through a good strength, full range of motion, but you're not going all out as far as your maximum effort. You could go ahead and do overspeed training on your rest periods at spinning like at 100 RPM plus for 3 minutes, and then repeating those 5 to 7 times. And that's a great sport-specific strength session. A couple examples of these in swimming, be swimming with paddles, or doing a similar cycling workout, but maybe swimming with a pool buoy. One thing about doing strength sessions with swimming, make sure you keep your form. Strength sessions are great for swimming as long as you can keep form. Non-specific strength sessions, I love non-specific strength sessions. Non-specific sessions are something like CrossFit, P90X, Olympic lefts, tire flips, really causing your body to do a lot of movements that you might not particularly do. Triathletes typically work in one plane. They run straight, they bike straight, they don't bend sideways, they don't lateral lunge. So these are great sessions that help free your body up of adhesions, allow your body to do workouts that your body may not have done before. So I love these. These are really helpful about putting these into your plan. So you could find just CrossFit workouts online. Make sure you're doing proper technique though. Strength endurance, okay? This is critical for success. Strength endurance is basically fatigue resistance training. As I mentioned, most people don't slow down because of cardio. They slow down to muscular fatigue. Strength endurance is kind of basically a combination of sport-specific strength combined with tempo. So you're actually working through the full range of motion most of the time, the strength sessions. However, you're working at a higher intensity. Most of the intensity is above race pace intensity with short workouts. So you're working the muscles with resistance with a lot of fatigue. And again, this is why you slow down, and this is why it's going to help you so much in long distance triathlons. So strength endurance, what would one of those workouts look like? That could look like a bike or a run hill repeats at a high intensity, zone 4, zone 5, with short recoveries. So basically maybe do a 1 to 1.5 work to rest ratio. So if you're running up the hill and it takes you 8 minutes to run up the hill, you're going to have basically a 12-minute rest time and do 5 to 7 sets of that. And that's it. But again, the key here is intensity. You're adding intensity with the strength. It should be really all out. It should be about zone 4, zone 5. When you're done with all these, you should not want to do another one. And a goal here is we're going to try to maintain the same pace, okay? So ideally what we want to do is try to do the same pace set 1 as you do at set 7. Now when you first start these, you might not be able to do that. You might not be able to do 5 or 7 sets of these. Or your set 7 may be really slower than your set 1. But that's just showing you don't have a lot of muscular fatigue resistance. As the week goes on, and you see your later sets are maintaining the same pace as your front sets, you could actually see that you're actually building up some muscular fatigue resistance. So speed endurance. Speed endurance is similar to strength endurance, but here what the main focus is trying to maintain the same pace as the body gets tired rather than applying like a resistance or a load. So speed work faster than race pace with short recoveries. However, unlike normal speed work, we do not want to allow our body to fully recover between sets. So typical speed work, you might run 800 meters, allow your body to recover fully, and then run another 800 meters. But in here what we're going to do is we're not allowing your body to fully recover, so the intervals are getting harder and harder. This is training your body to run fast with more fatigue. So again, we're trying to hold the same pace. The whole length of the session might only be an hour and a half, which doesn't seem that long for like an Ironman train, but you could build up a lot of fatigue in that time. And if you can maintain that pace, also as you get tired, you've built it up, a lot of muscular fatigue resistance. So if you're able to maintain the pace through the speed training and you spend the time building up muscular fatigue resistance, well, that's generally going to equal a good race. So an example of a speed endurance session would be running 800 meters at or better above race pace, close to your VO2 max, with short recoveries. If you don't know what your VO2 max is, just try to make it a fairly all-out recover. You're going to have basically like maybe a minute and a half recovery between sets. And so let's say we were going to do 8 sets of these. What you'll do is you'll go ahead and run 800 meters, rest for a minute and a half, go out, run another 800 meters, rest for another minute and a half, and then between 4 and 5, go ahead and give yourself basically a 3-minute recovery, and then for the rest of the sets, go back down to the 1.5 minute recovery for the final sets. That will really, and the goal of this is to maintain the same pace as you did one set as what you did at set 8. And you might not be able to do this at the beginning, but as your training goes on, you'll see the improvements, which will show you that you're building up your body's fatigue resistance. What about volume? Now, you can build up muscular resistance with shorter training sessions, as we talked about. Now, type of this training, you need lower volume with this type of training so your body can recover, and then you'll be able to train harder for the next session. So your volume does have to be lower. You could get by training for Ironman in 12 to 16 hours in your big, heavy weeks. That just depends on how much you're slowing down or how much fatigue resistance you've built up. If you're slowing down a lot more, you might need to add a little bit more volume into it. If you already have a lot of resistance, you're not maintaining, and you are able to maintain your pace during these high-intensity sessions, you might not even need 16 hours of volume. Now, another thing, the reason why we don't necessarily want to do a lot of volume, and this is actually really, really important in here, you need your body to adapt to the changes of the hard training. Now, I said adapt, not recovery. So you make your changes when your body adapts to the trainings of the training. And if you're training every day, long, hard, every day, your body does not have the time to adapt to the training. And that's where your body makes the gains. This is why a lot of people are really, really tired during their taper. They're like, man, I am wiped out on the taper, because your body's trying to adapt to all those weeks of training, and you didn't give your body enough time to adapt. So if you're doing too much volume, more than likely you might not be allowing your body enough time to adapt to the training. So you may never actually be able to reach your full potential. So how to reach your full potential? You need to rethink volume. Volume does not make you fast. Like I said, how do you feel after your workouts? When you go off and ride 50 miles, could you have done another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? No, we want you to train high intensity, race pace or above. Build up muscular fatigue resistance. And you can do this with shorter training sessions. Less volume allows you to adapt to the training. Adapt, not recover. That's why I mentioned about how tired you are in taper. Now, the final thing, load is a combination. The load on your body is a combination of intensity and volume. So if you increase one, you need to decrease the other. So if you're going to really boost up the intensity here, you need to reduce volume. People who train tons of volume really reduce the intensity. And the intensity is what's actually going to help you for a much better Ironman, half Ironman, long distance race. If you have any questions, want some more information, go to my website, banasportstherapy.com. I got more videos on YouTube. You can't see this, but this is my email address in there, drjeffbanas@gmail.com. That's drjeffbanas@gmail.com. It's my phone number. I also have some training plans on Training Peaks. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, check out my website. Happy training. Train smarter, not longer.